Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Today is the 8th of April, Tuesday, and we're continuing our reading of Chaitanya Charitamrita. And today, my dear friend, Jai Krishna Prabhu, he's Bengali, of course, he's going to read the Bengali for me. So you'll get the real rasa from the verses. So Jai Krishna Prabhu is a disciple of Srila Bhakti Kusum Smarang Maharaj, who was the disciple of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati and the first president of the Chaitanya Mat in Mayapur after Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati left this world. So he joined then in 1975 as a young boy, ran away from home. So today he's going to read the Bengali. So we'll begin our reading today. Om Agnya Timirandasya Gyanam Jala Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Taravakthaya Namo Namaha. Guru Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Namo Mahavadanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Twise Namaha Priya Sarupe Daita Sarupe Prema Sarupe Sahajavi Rupe Nijana Rupe Prabhueka Rupe Tatana Rupe Swavilasa Rupe Anapita Chirim Chirat Kurunavaratano Samarapaitam Unnata Ujvala Rasam Svabhakti Shriyam Haripurata Sundarata Tikatam Vasadapita Sadahridare Kandare Sparatu Vasachinandanaha Yam Bravajantamanapetiam Apeti Krityam Dvaipaino Viraha Katara Ajuhava Putre Titam Mayatayo Taravo Vedustam Sarvabhutam Pritim Munimanatoshmi Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshay Shittascha Karmadi Tarangamadye Kripamai Tvam Sharanam Prapana Brinde Namaste Charanarabindam Bhajami Radham Aravinda Netram Smarami Radham Madhurashmitasyam Vadami Radham Karuna Bharatram Tatoma Manastika Tiyanagapi Tavaivasmi Najivami Tvaivina Iti Vignaya Radhe Tvam Nayamam Charanantikam. I'm first of all offering millions and millions of Dandavat Pranams unto the lotus feet of my beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Tarasara Shishimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And I'm offering the same again millions and millions of times unto the lotus feet of our beloved Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Tarasara Shishimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and all our illustrious Rupanuga Guru Varga, and all the Vaishnava and Vaishnavi devotees of the Lord present. I offer my Dandavat Pranams to all of you. Vanchakalpa Tarupyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. So continuing our reading from the Adi Lila, chapter 1, and we reached verse 34. And now Krishna's Kaviraj is going to start unpacking his Mangalacharya. And the first verse is about Guru, the Guru principle. Nothing can transpire in our spiritual life without the sanction and empowerment from Guru. My Gurudev said continuously that Guru Nishta is the backbone of our devotion. Without Guru Nishta, then we cannot make one step towards Krishna. Guru is the representative of Krishna in this world. And we hear in Bhagavad Gita, Sarvadhamam Parityaja, surrender to Krishna. But who will we surrender to if we don't have a living Guru to surrender to? We can't surrender to someone who's in the past, for example. You can't surrender now to Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. You can to a degree, but you can't actually look him in the eye and say every single day, whatever you dictate to me, however you guide me, I'm going to follow. Sometimes Guru will ask us to do something that we personally don't really want to do. And that will give us an opportunity to demonstrate our Sharanagat. My Gurudev has said, what can you give to Guru? You can give him your independence. That's a big thing for all of us, to give up our independence to Guru. That means I'm ready to follow, heart and soul, whatever Guru advises me to do. So, of course, most of the time, everything is very simple in that area. But sometimes there will come a clash. My desire and Gurudev wants me to do this, but I actually want to do that. But then we have that opportunity to surrender to his will. Without that real Sharanagat, nothing can transpire. So now we've come to text 34 of the Adi Lila. So this is Sanskrit, but you can chant that. Vande Gurun Isha Bhaktan. You have to say loudly. 34. Yes. Go ahead. Vande Gurun Isha Bhaktan. Follow. Verse 34, Adi Lila, chapter 1.
Chapter 1, Pratham Parisched. Chapter 1, 34 coming Brahma Vishnu Shiva.
No. The verse before that is Krishna Guru Bhakti Shakti Avatar Prakat. I'll chant it now, and then there's a long purport, and you can find the place in there. Vande Gurun Nisham Bhaktan Isham Ishva Tarakaram Tat Prakasham Chatak Chakti Chata Krishna Chaitanya Samgyaham Kakam. This is actually the first verse.
First verse, right.
But it's in verse 34 because now Krishnadas Kaviraj is unpacking
34
it.
is here. 34.
Now I'm going to read the purport, which is quite lengthy. And then you can be ready for verse 35 is Mantra Guru Arayata. You have that? Mantra Guru. Mantra.
No, 35 there is.
Mantra Guru.
No.
Anyway, let me read this one. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the spiritual masters, the devotees of the Lord's incarnations, his plenary portions, his energies, and the primeval Lord himself, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. So this verse was the first verse of the Adi Lila chapter, and now Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj is going to unpack that. So there's a long purport by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has composed this Sanskrit verse for the beginning of his book, and now he will explain it in detail. He offers his respectful obeisances to the 6 principles of the Absolute Truth. Gurun is plural in number because anyone who gives spiritual instructions based on the revealed scriptures is accepted as a spiritual master. Although others give help in showing the way to beginners, the Guru who first initiates one with the Mahamantra is to be known as the instructor, and the saints who give instructions for progressive advancement in Krishna consciousness are called instructing spiritual masters, or Shiksha Guru. So the very first Guru is the Vatma Prakash Guru. That's the person who introduces us to Krishna. That might even be your mother or your father, etc. The first person who gives you a book, basically, and speaks to you about Krishna. That's the first Guru. Then the second is the Diksha, and the third is the Shiksha Gurus. There can be many Shiksha Gurus. It's described that Diksha Guru is like the Roop of Guru, and the Shiksha Guru is like the Swarup. So there's no difference, essentially, although there is a difference in their functions. The initiating and instructing spiritual masters are equal and identical manifestations of Krishna, although they have different dealings. Their function is to guide the conditioned souls back home, back to Godhead. Therefore, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami accepted Nityananda Prabhu and the 6 Goswamis in the category of Guru. So Nityananda Prabhu is that Sandini Shakti that we've spoken about. He's the Guru principle. Akhanda Guru Mula Tattva is embodied in Nityananda Prabhu. Why? Because he's demonstrating seva to Krishna. All the seva he does by manifesting all the cosmic creation. And then the 2 Chatuvyuhas, the first and the second. There is Sankarshan, Mahasankarshan, Mul Sankarshan, etc. coming down to Lord Narayan. Then there are the 3 Purusha avatars that we've already gone over. And then there ultimately is Anantashesha at the bottom. So all this is in service to Sri Krishna, his beloved Sri Krishna. So this service mood is what Baladev, what Nityananda Rai demonstrates. And this service is what is going to connect us. That there must be a person directly to serve. If we're serving Krishna in our consciousnesses, that's okay, but it's not sufficient to connect us to the Guru lineage, the Guru Parampara. It must be connected directly to a living personality, because that seed has to be given directly by Guru into the heart. That Bhakti Lata Bij, we said yesterday, that Krishna Seva Vasana has to come in the heart from Guru to the Shishya. It has to come that way. It can't come in our imagination. That Kalpana. Isha Bhaktan refers to the devotees of the Lord like Sri Srivas and all other followers, who are the energy of the Lord and are qualitatively non-different from him. Ishvat Arakan refers to acharyas like Advaita Prabhu, who is the avatar of the Lord. Tat Prakashan indicates the direct manifestation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Nityananda Prabhu, and the initiating spiritual master. Tat Shakti refers to the spiritual energies, Shaktis, of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Gadadhar, Damodar and Jagadananda belong to this category of internal energy. Jagadananda actually is Satyabhama in Dwarka. Damodar is actually, Swarup Damodar he's referring to here, is Lalita Saki in Braj Lila. So all, Gaur Lila as Damodar, but Lalita Saki in Braj Lila. And Gadadhar, of course, is Sri Radha. So it's very systematic the way that Krishnadas Kaviraj is presenting this. There can be no error. There can be no mistake where he's directing us. Very, very clearly delineating the energies, etc. The 6 principles are differently manifested, but all equally worshipable. Krishnadas Kaviraj begins by offering his obeisances unto them to teach us the method of worshipping Lord Chaitanya. The external potency of Godhead, called Maya, can never associate with the Lord, just as darkness cannot remain in the presence of light. Yet darkness, being but an illusory and temporary covering of light, has no existence independent of light. Very interesting way he's written it. Darkness has no existence independent of light. Darkness is what's there. When eternally there is light. There's light from the Brahmajyoti, light from the sun, light from the moon. Eternally it's there. But there's a covering that comes, and that covering is related to Maya. We have this beautiful verse, the Chatushloki in Rite ritam yak pratiyata na pratiyata na katmani tad vidyat atmanomayam yato basatmasa yato namaha. I just want to say this verse to you. The translation is very beautiful to consider. The Supreme Absolute Truth, Paramatatva or Swarup Tattva, is the only real truth. So the light is the only real truth. One should understand that which is seen to be separate from this truth or not existing within that light to be the product of the Supreme Absolute's deluding potency, Maya. Understand? What is not within that truth is the deluding potency, Maya. The following example demonstrates this. Paramatatva can be compared to the sun, which is an object consisting of light. The sun is experienced in two other forms, namely its reflection and darkness. Darkness is what's there when the sun is covered or when the sun is vacant. Similarly, in regards to the Absolute Truth, reflection pertains to the living entities, Jiva Shakti, and darkness to the material creation, Maya Shakti. So this is, I'm reading this in connection with this description here, that yet darkness, being but an illusory and temporary covering of light, has no existence independent of light. So try to appreciate these conceptions. Now it's verse 35. So you read here.
35 is
Here,
there.
you read this one. Read it now. This one. Just read that. 35. There's the Bengali.
মন্ত্র গুরু আর যত শিক্ষা গুরুগণ তাহার চরণে আগে করে বন্দন.
So I've already described who Jai Krishna is, his lineage, etc. So he's going to be. Have you found it in yours? Tomorrow you can have this book. Tomorrow you have this book and follow this book. The Bengali is here, you see? So you can read from this Bengali. Otherwise it'll be too confusing.
This mentioned by Pava edition.
Yes. No, you have to have this one. Same copy. So I first offer my respectful obeisances at the lotus feet of my initiating spiritual master and all my instructing masters. So every time before anyone begins to speak, they have to offer their praman to Guru. There has to be a Mangalacharyan. Otherwise, how are you connecting with the current? If you just sit and just start to speak without honoring Guru, then it's as if it's out of your own imagination. But it has to come through the line. Otherwise, it's not authentic, it's not valid. So we connect with our Mangalacharyan every single time. If someone asks you to speak in any circumstance about Krishna directly, if there's even 2 or 3 of you, you should invoke the presence of Guru. You should say, Jai Guru Gauranga, at least, and begin to speak in a mood of submissiveness to the energy coming from Guru. Must be that line. If this is not there, today people are very independent. That's why I'm making it quite a strong point here. And they actually feel that they want to do it their own way, how they want, etc. This is how the Mayic world influences us. But you can get nowhere that way. What is our limited consciousness? How can our limited consciousness connect to the unlimited without somebody from the unlimited connecting us? How's it possible? If you're stuck in a dark well, how are you going to get out without someone throwing you a rope? But it's twofold. The person in the bottom of the well has to grab hold of the rope. That's his duty, to be pulled out. He can't just be pulled out by magic. He has to perform that chesta, that effort, to grab hold of the rope to be pulled out. Srila Jiva Goswami, in his thesis Bhakti Sandarbha 202, has stated that uncontaminated devotional service is the objective of pure Vaishnavas. This is Anyabilasita Sunyam, which is describing Uttam Bhakti. And that one has to execute such service in the association of other devotees. That means being connected to Guru. Even if you just pick up a granta and you're already connected to Guru through initiation diksha, that granta will shine for you because it knows there's a connection with you already there. If you're reading the Sandarbhas and you're connected to Sadguru, then those Sandarbhas are going to shine through for you. because you're connected to pure Guru. But if you're not connected to Guru, how can they manifest? It's a simple, fundamental, elementary understanding. And that one has to execute such service in the association of other devotees. By associating with devotees of Lord Krishna, one develops a sense of Krishna consciousness and thus becomes inclined towards the loving service of the Lord. The loving service of the Lord is a most unique quality. It's something that we have to learn. We can learn to love aspects of this material world. We can soften our hearts materially. But to love that spiritual realm through service to that spiritual realm, that equation will only manifest if it's done in a completely bona fide manner. Systematic, coming through Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, through all the teachings of our Guru Varga. It can't manifest any other way if we want the real thing. This is the process of approaching the Supreme Lord by gradual appreciation in devotional service. So devotional service initially means like just washing the floor, collecting flowers, etc. What's that verse? Offering flour, water. Patram pushram phalam toyam. Yes, that by offering a leaf or a flower or water to the Lord, He becomes satisfied. But who is going to direct you to do that? You have to be directed to do that. Patram pushpam phalam toyam. This is the process of approaching the Supreme Lord by gradual appreciation in devotional service. If one desires unalloyed devotional service, one must associate with devotees of Sri Krishna, for by such association only can a conditioned soul achieve a taste for transcendental love, and thus revive his eternal relationship with Godhead in a specific manifestation in terms of the specific transcendental mellow, ras, that one has eternally inherent within him. Kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya bhavsa sadhanabhita. Nitya siddhyasya bhavasya prakatam hridi sadhyate. This word prakatam means potential. The potential is there. Then nitya siddha, is that nitya siddha? Krishna prem, sarisroy, sar, sura chitta, kodai. Nitya siddha Krishna prem, sarva kabunai, Shravanadi Shurachita Korya Udai. In both these verses by Rupa Goswami, he's explaining that this potentiality to serve the Lord is there inherent within every single jiva. It's our nature. We are Vibhinamsa Tattva. We've come from the separated energies of the Lord. The Lord represents love. He's the most loving conception of sweetness and beauty conceivable. That love is manifested through service. So this service is an inherent nature of the jiva. What's that? Jivera swarapoi krishnera netyadas. Veda tatastasha. Yeah. That this service is inherent within the jiva. And we have it awoken by service to Sadguru, who is connected to all our Guru Varga. We must have that connection. And this is a daily connection. It's not just, oh yes, I'm connected, that's the end of the story. Every single day we demonstrate our service. We demonstrate our Sharanagat. Every day an opportunity comes to surrender, surrender, surrender. It's an ongoing dynamic. It's not just one time or like that. And if Guru has left this world, still he's alive within the heart of the Shishya. For the Shishya to tune into, to carefully listen. What is Gurudev's desire? And often we can recognize that by our God brothers who are also serving the same Guru. And we can question them and ask, is this a good direction that I'm going. If they're all saying no, 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 then you should listen and understand that's a representation of your guru saying that's not a good idea. So we have to be like that constantly, communing with our guru. If one develops love for Krishna by Krishna conscious activities, one can know the supreme absolute truth. Krishna conscious activities means activities in this world. We've got to be aware of the imagination, this kalpana. If our imagination is going, oh yes, I'm serving Krishna, I'm meditating, I'm making garlands and I'm giving them to Lalita Sakhi, she's giving them to Shri Radhika, Radhika is giving them to Krishna, like that. If I'm meditating, that's one thing. But actually the external activity must be there also for purifying, certainly initially. If the external activity is not there, then how can the internal activity be there? If the external making of garlands and offering them is not there, how can the internal be there? Isn't it? You can't just have the internal without the external. From the external it leads to the internal. And one has eternally inherent within him. Yes, the jiva, the staibhav is inherent within all jivas to serve Krishna. Jivara sarup hoy, Krishnera nityadas. All are servants of Krishna. If one develops love for Krishna by Krishna conscious activities, one can know the supreme absolute truth. But he who tries to understand God simply by logical arguments will not succeed. Just trying to... It's actually like a fearful thing, in a sense. If I don't want to accept Guru, I actually want to cheat the whole process and run away and just do it by myself, where I think I can get some material pleasure and happiness from. I don't want to make that commitment and perhaps have my independence curtailed. So it's a courageous act to accept Guru. Nor will he get a taste for unalloyed devotion, because the devotion is coming from the Guru. It's coming from him. We look at his devotion ultimately to Nityananda Baladev, and we are following that devotion.
The network speed is slow today. You can announce it.
Oh.
On YouTube it's a problem, but FB is working fine.
Okay.
I have already dropped a message, but...
Okay. The network seems to be slow, but I'm not seeing any sign come up in the YouTube. But you can jump to Facebook. Facebook seems to be doing okay. The secret is that one must submissively listen to those who know perfectly the science of God. That means shiksha or diksha. That person who you have respect for, who understands the science of God, that person we should listen to more and more. And one must begin the mode of service regulated by the preceptor. The preceptor is the Diksha Guru. That must begin there, from that point. A devotee already attracted by the name, form, qualities, etc. of the Supreme Lord may be directed to his specific manner of devotional service. Everyone has a different, unique propensity to serve the Lord. Some will serve by cooking, by writing scriptures, by reading, by so many different kirtan, etc. So many different methods of devotional service, and Guru will assess your particular method of service and encourage that. The expert spiritual master knows well how to engage his disciples' energy in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, and thus he engages the devotee in a specific devotional service according to his special tendency. So we are all unique souls, and we all have our speciality. We have our individual rasa, that no one else in existence has the same rasa that we personally have. And Krishna wants to taste that rasa. That's what Krishna is seeking. A devotee must have only one initiating spiritual master, because in the scriptures acceptance of more than one is always forbidden. devotee can reject his Diksha Guru if his Diksha Guru has become like an aparadi, has become fallen from this path. He can be rejected, and there are examples in scripture of where Guru is rejected. But if Guru is still in good standing, he's not to be rejected. We can think of the example of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bipin Bihari was his family guru, but then he got connected with Jagannath Das Babaji, and then he understood something much beyond what he was getting from Bipin Bihari. He did not disrespect Bipin Bihari at all, but he gave his nishta, his heart, to Jagannath Das Babaji, who reciprocated by giving him his heart. So Bipin Bihari wasn't carrying him to the same conception, but he didn't reject it. He reject because he was still practicing carefully. But if someone is no longer practicing and is forward, it's a great disturbance actually for the sadhak when someone you've connected and someone is not following anymore. This can be very disturbing to the mind. There is no limit, however, to the number of instructing spiritual masters one may accept. Generally, a spiritual master who constantly instructs a disciple in spiritual science becomes his initiating spiritual master later on. So that may be the case, it may not be the case. With my Gurudev, his Diksha and Shiksha were like the same. Srila Bhakti-Pran Keshav Maharaj was very familiar with my Gurudev, as well as he was the strict Diksha Guru, but he also gave facility for my Gurudev to associate with him very familiarly, very closely. So the two were there. Generally, the Shiksha Guru we can associate with more familiarly. With the Diksha Guru, there should be more formality. That's usually the case, but not always. Because we are all completely independent or individual, unique souls. We each have different needs, etc., which can be supplied by Krishna supplying the particular gurus and so on. And we should not, we don't have to search for Guru. Guru will come into our lives. Krishna will send Guru. It's not we should go window shopping, so to speak, and look for the Guru that satisfies. Krishna will provide that opportunity himself, automatically. Generally, a spiritual master who constantly instructs a disciple in spiritual science becomes his initiating spiritual master later on. One should always remember that a person who is reluctant to accept a spiritual master and be initiated is sure to be baffled in his endeavor to go back to Godhead. If one is hesitant, reluctant, why? Because if it's in a new stage, it's understandable, because you need to become more familiar with the precepts. But if you've gone 10 or 15 or 20 years and you haven't accepted a spiritual master, there's some problem, there's some defect there, and you're not going to understand anything unless you accept a spiritual master. One who is not properly initiated may present himself as a great devotee, but in fact he is sure to encounter many stumbling blocks on his path of progress towards spiritualization, with the result that he must continue his term of material existence without relief. Even if one has a spiritual master, but is not following closely, one is not offering his bandhanam daily to his spiritual master, his faith is not growing. One time my Gurudev was asked this question: how can we tell if our sambandha is growing with Guru? And my Gurudev responded, he said, if you are feeling that your Gurudev is your everything in your life and you're always bouncing your progress off him, then your sambandha is strong. He reasons ill who tells that Vaishnavas die when thou art living still in sound, Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings. Guru is always, he's a living eternal reality in our lives. We just described this eternality of the spirit soul. It's saying, Prabhupada is saying here, that one has eternally inherent within him. Guru is also, my Gurudev has written this expression, I'm closer to you than the breath that you breathe. The breath you breathe is external. He's closer than that. He's internal. He never stops talking. He's always there. He's always available. 24/7. If we put our nishta in that direction, but if we neglect that, that's greatly to our misfortune. We can't really progress. Such a helpless person is compared to a ship without a rudder, for such a ship can never reach its destination. It is imperative, therefore, that one accept a spiritual master if he at all desires to gain the favor of the Lord. And that must be growing daily. Just like love itself is not a static emotion or appreciation, it's an ecstatic movement of the heart. It has to be growing, otherwise it's not a reality. The service of the spiritual master is essential. Tadvedi pranipatena pranipashena sevaya. Sevaya. Yes. This seva must be there to make the connection. Seva is the symptom of love. When seva is there, then connection can be made. Just like in this material world. If we claim to love someone, love our parents, etc., love our children, even love our country, we serve it. Love our animals, we serve them. So this service must be there. If there is no chance to serve the spiritual master directly, a devotee should serve him by remembering his instructions. By remembering his instructions. What did he say? Sometimes Guru might be present just for a brief time, like Gopkumar in Brihat Bhagavatamrita. Guru was only there very briefly. Just told him though to chant the Gopal mantra. That was the only instruction basically that he gave. But he maintained that chanting of the Gopal mantra. And where did it end up? It took him right to Goloka Vrindavan, right to Krishna, because he maintained that, following that instruction from his Guru. Yes. There is no difference between the spiritual master's instructions and the spiritual master himself. The Vani and the Vapu. Vapu is the form. The form of Guru and his instructions are the same. But of the two, my Gurudev amplifies the form. You should associate with his form. When he leaves this world, then you can associate more with the Vani. But Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, he emphasized the Vani, the instruction, because he had 10,000 more disciples. Therefore, his words of direction should be the pride of the disciple. The disciple should be proud of the words of his Guru. If he thinks that he is above consulting anyone else, including a spiritual master, he is at once an offender at the lotus feet of the Lord. The Lord is the direct manifestation of the spiritual master. This is the point. Sakshata vitre nasta masta shastre. The Lord is directly the manifestation of the spiritual master. This is where Krishna's Kaviraj is beginning. Krishna's Kaviraj is beginning here with the tattva, the tattvic praman, completely, the siddhanta. Such an offender can never go back to Godhead. It is imperative that a serious person accept a bona fide spiritual master in terms of the Shastric injunctions. Srila Jiva Goswami advises that one not accept a spiritual master in terms of hereditary or customary, social or ecclesiastical conventions. This is like the smartas. The smartas have their lineage, their father, their grandfather, they're in this line, but not in the line of this Bhagavat Parampara, which is actually a Shiksha line that Bhaktivinoda Thakur exemplified. Srila Jiva Goswami advises that one not accept a spiritual master in terms of hereditary or customary, social or ecclesiastical conventions. One should simply try to find a genuine qualified spiritual master for actual advancement in spiritual understanding. And the greatest peace will land on the heart when one connects there in Sharanagat to that spiritual master. All difficulties are evaporated for life. when one connects with Sadguru on that platform of Sharanagat. That there's no more saying it's finished, the YouTube. It's just jumping up. YouTube is...
It's not working. YouTube is still buffering.
Okay, so those on YouTube or just Facebook is working, but
Yeah, it is gone.
YouTube has gone completely.
Yes, now it's gone.
Okay, text 36. Loudly.
শ্রীরূপ সনাতন ভট্ট রঘুনাথ শ্রীজীব গোপাল ভট্ট দাস রঘুনাথ.
My instructing spiritual masters are Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatan Goswami, Sri Bhatta Raghunath, Sri Jiva Goswami, Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, and Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. These are the instructing spiritual masters of Srila Krishna's Kaviraj.
ये छय गोसाई शिक्षा गुरु जी আমার তা সবার পাদপদ্মে কোটি নমস্কার.
These 6 are my instructing spiritual masters, and therefore I offer millions of respectful obeisances unto their lotus feet. So Srila Krishna's Kaviraj is acknowledging his connection with all the Goswamis. Actually, Srila Krishna's Kaviraj himself is like the 7th Goswami. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is celebrated as the 7th Goswami, but still Srila Krishna's Kaviraj, he comes after the 6 Goswamis, basically. By accepting the 6 Goswamis as his instructing spiritual masters, the author specifically makes it clear that one should not be recognized as a Gaudiya Vaishnava if he is not obedient to them. How can this current manifest on these pages without fully honoring where this current has manifested?
ভগবানের ভক্ত যত শিবাস প্রধান তা সবার পাদপদ্মে সহস্র প্রণাম.
Have to go louder. There are innumerable devotees of the Lord, of whom Srivas Thakur is the foremost. I offer my respectful obeisances thousands of times at their lotus feet. 39. Loudly.
অদ্বৈত আচার্যে প্রভুর অংশ অবতার তার পার পদ্মে কোটি পুনতি আমার.
My friend Jai has been performing so much devotional seva his whole life, but I don't think he's been speaking publicly so much in his life, but he's been non-stop devotional service. Advaita Acharya is the Lord's partial incarnation, and therefore I offer my obeisances millions of times at his lotus feet. Nityananda Rai.
নিত্যানন্দ রায় প্রভু স্বরূপ প্রকাশ তার পাদ পদ্মে বন্দে যারমণি দাস.
You have to get a book tomorrow. Srila Nityananda Ram is the plenary manifestation of the Lord, and I have been initiated by him. We remember the pastime already we've described when Krishna's Kaviraj was in his family home, and he had a disagreement with his brother. Miniketana Ram came and became angry with the pujari who wasn't properly honoring the assembly of Vaishnavas, and he broke his flute at that time. And Krishna's Kaviraj's brother, he took the side of the pujari, and very strongly he was chastising his brother. And in reciprocation to that, Baladev Prabhu, Nityananda Rai, appeared in a dream and directed him to go immediately to Vrindavan. And he did at that time. So he considers that Nityananda Ram gave him initiation at that time. This is what he's saying. Srila Nityananda Ram is the plenary manifestation of the Lord, and I have been initiated by him. This is what he's saying. So, text 41. Speak louder.
गदाधर पंडितादि भक्त प्रभुर निज शक्ति ताशवाचरणे मोर सहस्र पुनति.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto the internal potencies of the Lord, of whom Sri Gadadhar Prabhu is the foremost. Sri Gadadhar is Shakti Tattva complete.
श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु स्वयं भगवान तार पद पद्म अनंत पूर्ण.
More strong. Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the personality of Godhead himself, and therefore I offer innumerable prostrations at his lotus feet.
शरण्ये पूर कोरिया नमस्कार ये छय त्यों जैसे करे विचार.
It's written in Bengali, right?
Yes.
Having offered obeisances unto the Lord and all his associates, I shall now try to explain these 6 diversities in one. So these 6 aspects that he's already described, he's going to explain in one. So the purport here, there are many unalloyed devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all of whom are considered associates surrounding the Lord. Krishna should be worshipped with his devotees. The diverse principles are therefore the eternal paraphernalia through which the absolute truth can be approached. In other words, all these diversities the Lord comes with. He comes with his parsads. Then these are for us to connect with, just as the Lord is coming to connect with us. So his parsads, we can connect with Gadadhar by offering prayers. We can connect with Srivas by offering prayers, especially on his appearance and disappearance day. We can offer prayers to Nityananda Rai, so many prayers and bhajans to him, like that, to Advaita Acharya. We constantly are connecting with him. This is, in other words, connecting with Mahaprabhu through his parsads. Text 44. Loudly, all the time.
यद्यप्यामर गुरु चैतन्य रदा तथापि जानियामि तार प्रकाश.
Although I know that my spiritual master is a servitor of Sri Chaitanya, I know him also as a plenary manifestation of the Lord. He's referring to Nityananda Ram, his spiritual master. He's a plenary manifestation of the Lord. We should see the Lord, we should see the spiritual master like this. Every purport, every living entity is essentially a servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We are Bibhinamsa Tattva, we've already explained. We're coming from the manifestation of Swangsa Tattva. So we're all Jivara Sarup Hoy, Krishnara Nityadas. We're all essentially servants. Supreme Personality of God. And the spiritual master is also his servant. Guru is the greatest master and the greatest servant. We have a beautiful book about Srila Vamana Maharaj. It's entitled True Master and True Servant. Both are there in Guru. Guru is the true servant of his Guru, and he's the true master in this world, acting on behalf of his Guru. Still, the spiritual master is a direct manifestation of the Lord. With this conviction, a disciple can advance in Krishna consciousness. If we don't have this conviction, how can we reach the higher realms of consciousness? If I'm not convinced and appreciate where my Gurudev is situated, how can I make progress to that place? With this conviction, a disciple can advance in Krishna consciousness. The spiritual master is non-different from Krishna because he is a manifestation of Krishna. How can we understand that? Because Krishna and the spiritual master both have the same desire for us, our greatest welfare. Guru only wants the highest welfare for the disciple, and Krishna wants the highest welfare for disciple. So both have the same desire. It's non-different. It's both the same desire. Lord Nityananda, who is Balaram himself, the first direct manifestation or expansion of Krishna. So always when this is written, we should understand through Swarup Shakti. I've said this so many times. All of the manifestations coming from Krishna are manifesting from Krishna's Shakti. Krishna doesn't manifest anyone except his Shakti is manifesting from him. And everything is coming from that Swarup Shakti. Everything. So when it's saying first manifestation, Baladev is the first manifestation through Swarup Shakti. The spiritual master is non-different. Oh yes. Lord Nityananda is Balaram himself, the first direct manifestation or expansion of Krishna. Is the original spiritual master, Akhanda Guru Mula Tattva. He helps Lord Krishna in his pastimes, and he is a servant of the Lord. Directly we're going to see how Nityananda will always catch the Lord, for example, when the Lord is exhibiting ecstatic pastimes. This is described mostly by Vrindavan Das Thakur in his Chaitanya Bhagavat. When Mahaprabhu crashes to the ground, Mother Sachi is praying that his bones won't be broken, and she's praying for protection for him. And then Nityananda is manifesting and always is catching the Lord. So in all his pastimes, as Baladev Prabhu in Krishna Lila, he's there. Every living entity is eternally a servant of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Therefore the spiritual master cannot be other than a servant of Lord Chaitanya. So the spiritual master is the servant of Lord Chaitanya. He's not different to the servant, but he's an empowered servant assisting those who are following him. The spiritual master's eternal occupation is to expand the service of the Lord by training disciples in a service attitude. The spiritual master is serving, and he's training the disciples to serve. Everything revolves around service. This service. He is considered a representative of the Lord. The revealed scriptures prohibit one's pretending to be God, but a bona fide spiritual master is a most faithful and confidential servant of the Lord, and therefore deserves as much respect as Krishna. This was very bewildering for the materialists when Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, for example, at the airports was given a Rolls Royce. And the disciples would say, oh, we're worshipping him as God. But Prabhupada would always correct them and saying, I am the representative of God. I am the true representative of God. I am not God himself. So we have to understand, we worship him as God. As God's representative. If he was proclaiming himself God, like many God-men in India, they have many God-men. Every week, a new God-man is busted by the police in India, regularly. Because they fall down, often for sex life, with their disciples. And even, Bishak Shane, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, this was impersonating Mahavishnu.
Ras was going to
performing ras with other men's wives, etc. So we must see that Guru himself is fully serving the Lord. My Gurudev would demonstrate this constantly. He would be glorifying his Guru. When his Guru, on his disappearance day, my Gurudev would want to speak about him, but his voice would become choked with emotional affection, and he couldn't speak. He would just usually say a couple of words and then direct others to speak. So he showed us all pure gurus will demonstrate their own guru nishtha to their gurus. All. Rupa Goswami is glorifying Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself directly. And he's also glorifying Sanatana Goswami. Jiva Goswami is glorifying Rupa Goswami. Raghunath Bhatta Goswami is glorifying all the Goswamis. And Krishna's Kaviraj here is glorifying all the Goswamis. This is their mood all the way down the line. All are glorifying their own gurus in an exemplary fashion. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada would glorify Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati so profusely with his whole life and soul, saying any credit, and he had amazing credits, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, establishing so many centers worldwide. He would say it's all only the mercy of my Guru. And he would really mean that when he was saying like that. All the mercy of his Guru. A spiritual master never poses as the Supreme Lord himself. He is considered a representative of the Lord. The revealed scriptures prohibit one's pretending to be God, but a bona fide spiritual master is a most faithful and confidential servant of the Lord, and therefore deserves as much respect as Krishna. Text 45. Yeah, Bengali subtitle.
Guru Krishna Rupiyan Shastra Rupamane Guru Rupi Krishna Kripa Karen Bhaktagane.
I hope Jai's voice is loud enough for everyone to hear. We might have to get a separate microphone. According to the deliberate opinion of all revealed scriptures, the spiritual master is non-different from Krishna. Lord Krishna, in the form of the spiritual master, delivers the devotees. This is the chain. He's saying it repeatedly again and again because it's the most important factor before we begin this epic. That has to be conclusively understood and appreciated. Krishna's Kaviraj is building a huge foundation, as I've said before, for the greatest palace of Ras to sit upon. So he's building this. So he's starting with very clear guidelines and depth of the Nishta to Guru. According to the deliberate opinion, I just read that. The relationship of a disciple with his spiritual master is as good as his relationship with the Supreme Lord. A spiritual master always represents himself as the humblest servitor of the personality of Godhead, but the disciple must look upon him as the manifested representation of Godhead. This is not so easy to understand. It takes spiritual consciousness to understand this point deeply. By the power of the Hare Krishna mantra, we can understand these points. Okay, text 46. This is Sanskrit now.
Acharyamam Bijaniyam Nama Kohi Chita No Matta Buddhi Shuyate Sarva Deva Maya Guru.
Okay, there's a very long purport here, so I'll save that for tomorrow. And we'll repeat this verse 46 tomorrow. We'll say verse 46 again tomorrow. Acharya Mam Vijnanyam. Yes, we'll repeat this first thing tomorrow. So I'll stop here, but it's very enlivening to hear Srila Krishna's Kaviraj and Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada lay down the foundation for our study. It's a long study. I'm approaching this Chaitanya Charitamrita and hoping to conclude it all. And as I said initially, it may take a year or two. But the foundation is being set on Guru Tattva. This is paramount. So Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Hari Bol. Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvevacha Patitanam Pavnibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.